From the center of the universe, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this is the SDM Show with your host, Rob Cairns. The SDM Show focuses on business, life, productivity, digital marketing, WordPress, and more. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. Here is Rob.
Hey everybody, I'm Rob Cairns. I'm the founder, CEO, and chief creator of Amazing Ideas. In today's show, I have Mr. Todd Jones with his copywriting segment, and he's going to talk about one piece of content you need. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. The SDM Show is brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, the digital marketing concierge that helps you put all your marketing pieces together. We are your marketing experts. We are also your WordPress security experts and know how to lock down a website and protect yourself from bad actors. So contact us at Stunning Digital Marketing today. Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here. And today we're doing our copywriting with Todd Jones segment. Hey Todd, how you doing, man?
How you doing? I'm doing good. Trying to stay warm here in not quite snowy Arkansas.
You can come to sunny Toronto and I'll make you feel better, bud.
We are sunny here, but it's we're having weather that should be fall, but
yeah,
such is life in the South. So
today we thought we'd talk about a subject dear to your heart, dear to my heart, and that's content. And we're going to frame this as one piece of content your small business needs, and it's not what you think. So content we know is important. We know when doing content, consistency is important, right? I mean, it doesn't do any good. And I don't care if it's social, if it's this podcast. One reason this podcast does well is because I'm consistent, right? And that's important.
consistency, yeah.
If it's an email newsletter, consistency is important. But what's that piece of content your small business needs? Go.
Well, I do think that it is something that you absolutely have to have, and it's what we call what we lovingly refer to as NAP in the web design world, which stands for name, address, and phone number.
Yes. And by the way,
but the kicker is it's not just name, address, and phone number. It's everything that is connected with your contact information. So these days, that means email address, that means social media profiles, the whole thing.
Yep. And I think one of the biggest mistakes in the web design world, there's two actually, is people don't put their contact email and their phone number at the top of their website, above the fold or above the scroll in the web world. And I think that's really important. And people say, oh, that's a waste of space. I would humbly disagree. I would say you need it front and center, because what's one of the number one reasons or top three reasons people go to a website? How do I get a hold of you? Well, I have
and I gotta say probably at least, and this is just me throwing out numbers, but at least 50% of them, and probably more than that, are looking at your website on a mobile phone, which means they can call you with the click of a button. So if you put that phone number hyperlinked in the navigation menu or at the top of the website, they see that very quickly. They can click that with their thumb, and they are off to the races calling you.
I would go even further. In the WordPress world, you can run plugins that only work on mobile, that only show on mobile, that say, call me now. So I would even go that far. Yeah. The email address, and what people argue, and I've been in this discussion with other designers, is, oh, I have a link to my contact page. Guess what, folks? Your web viewers are lazy. If they have to click on multiple things, don't do that to them. Give it to them. The other thing a lot of designers don't do, and this pertains to mobile more than anything else, is not only should you put that information in the header, you should put it in the footer. And the reason is, on a mobile phone, once you scroll all the way down, the odds are the person's not going to scroll back to the top of the page. So just do it that way.
Yeah, and we're framing this as web design, but it's also a matter of content, which is, of course, copy. when it comes to a service business or a brick and mortar, like, maybe you're going to try out that new pizza joint. You look them up online and they have a website. Hopefully they didn't put the menu in PDF and screw
Yep.
up your phone. That's another thing I get frustrated with.
So
And
do
I've
I.
had conversation with our friend Colleen Greatzer about the accessibility part of it. But that's one issue. You have most people don't make the PDF files accessible. That's one issue. The second issue is it's just almost impossible to do on the mobile phone. But anyway, they're wanting to go to the new Italian or the new pizza place or whatever. They click on, they Google it, and because you have a good brand, you show up at the top of the Google search results. So they click on that. It goes to your website, and you're like, I know what I want. I want a pepperoni pizza. So let's call, and there's a phone number at the top, or there's a
Yep.
name. So yeah, it's we're talking about local businesses, and there's a whole nother segment you can do on large restaurant chains and how terrible their websites are. But that's
Oh,
a whole nother,
they're awful. But
the
for
worst I've ever seen.
yeah, for local, what is so the other thing, while we're talking about this is also address needs to be part of that. And I'll tell you why, because
Hmm.
one of the things that happens is, especially if you're a retail or restaurant, let me give you an example. My
If you
partner
have a
and I,
brick and mortar, yeah.
yep, my partner and I are out and about. We're
Hmm.
hungry.
Yeah.
I grab my little Google Pixel phone, which is in my
Hmm.
hand, and what do? I say, give me the Italian restaurant. She's Italian near where I am. Okay? It spits out three.
Hmm.
What's the two things I'm going to do before I even look at the menu? One, I might call them, and
Hmm.
two, I might turn around and say, how do we get there now?
Hmm. Yeah, and the one that's going to be the closest, probably where you're going to go.
Probably wins out. Yeah. So that's the
Yeah.
point I'm making. So let's understand and understand, especially for designing for content, you need to stop thinking as a business owner what you want, what your readers want, what your viewers want, what your listeners want. And that's more important than what you want.
Now, let me say all this to say a lot of small local businesses will do their own website using a page builder or whatever. So that, and you
Yep.
may be listening, and that's fine. You didn't hire Rob, you didn't hire me or Ryan or the vendor. That's fine.
Or Paul.
But what we're giving you, or Paul, or Rhonda, all these, what we're telling you is that even if you're using Wix or Weebly or
Yep.
GoDaddy or
Doesn't
Squarespace,
matter.
whatever, put your name, address, and phone number and email address and all that. And NAP just is what we used to say. It's now all those things. Your entire
Yep.
contact block needs to be on that website in prominent places, especially for mobile, like you're saying. And we're saying you don't need us to design your website for you to make this happen. This is the most important piece of content you have
Yep.
as
Yep.
a local service business or even like a local restaurant, whatever, that makes it easier. Now I'm going to go a step further. That's on your website. Brilliant. You got to start there. Then you start making sure your Google business profile and your Bing business profile, those two things match what's on your website.
No question. But the other tip is while you're on that, and I think I've talked about this on the show, certainly talked about it in my newsletter recently and my blog, is you don't have to maintain both your Google business profile and your Bing profile. You can actually set your Bing business profile up once a week to pull in all the information off the Google profile. So those small business owners who think, oh, I don't want two profiles because I want to maintain them. First of all, Edge is growing in the share of the marketplace. So you need that Bing profile,
Yep.
and you can set it up to pull the info in from your Google business profile so you don't have to do the extra work. So there's your tip of gold to save you time right then and now.
And let's go a step further. Okay.
Yep.
Google and business and Bing are the two biggest, search
Yep.
engine directories and that
Course,
kind of thing. We have other directories that other people use depending on the type of company you have. So
like
if
Yelp,
you're Yelp, yes, exactly. Yelp is the next one that comes to my attention.
Home Stars if you're in the
Yep.
Canadian home.
Let's just stop at Yelp. But let's just say if
Yep.
your users are searching on one of these, take the top three and make sure you have a profile, claim your profile because it's probably already there. Claim your profile, make sure that address information, all that information matches up all across the board. So Yelp, um, Homestars, Bing, Google, and your website. They all need to match.
Yep.
And then there are tools that us web designers know about that even you can use that will filter, make sure all that's done. And it costs money, but it's a tool that you can do. I think that is something. Now, let me go another step further. This is technically maybe a little bit advanced to what we do, but if you are a business owner and you have a designer or a developer, somebody you work with regularly who does your maintenance website, I try to do this for all my local digital business clients.
Yep.
There is schema you can put in for local business.
Yep.
And here's the thing, they will also want all that information that you use in NAP. So what you're really looking for is the NAP information, the content block, all of that to be visible to the user on your website in the schema, in the form of a schema tag. That's
Yep.
important. And then on all the top, directory type searches, which means Google Business, Bing Business, Yelp, and then on and on and on. I know a lot of home cleaners use Angie's List, or what used to be Angie's List.
No question.
There's some other ones out there, but and you say, well, I don't know where to go. Well, here's what you do. Whenever you get a new client, and I probably should put this on the contact forms for mine, but I haven't. When you get a new client, a new customer, a new ask them where they found out about you. It's a simple question. However, you have your intake form or whatever, just say, "Hey, how'd you hear about us?"
So, and by the
Um,
way, if you have a
Somebody will say, "Hey, I saw you on Angie's List," or "I saw you on Yelp," or whatever.
brick and mortar business, I'll shout out to my good friends Robin and Phil who own the jewelry store that I do work with, and I use them as an example. People will come in the store that are new, and the first thing Robin will say is, "Where did you hear about the store?" Do it in
Hmm.
person too,
Yeah, yeah.
and in this case, there's interesting enough, there's a Facebook group called the West Rouge Facebook group, and they are like the recommended juror in that group. And the number of people that come in out of that group, and they say, "Oh yeah, we know the West Rouge because they all come in there." So that is really important because that tells you where your marketing's working. So knowing
Yeah.
where you heard about it's so key. So if you got to put it on there, but also ask
Yeah,
us.
it's a simple question, and the first time you work with somebody, you can ask them when they come in the store. You don't even have to do it as the owner. You have employees. You have somebody at the register. Have them to ask. Make it one of their questions. Is it for after they say, "Is there anything I can help you find?" How'd you hear about us today? If they don't know you, if you're a regular, they know you. They don't. You
Yeah,
don't have to
of
ask
course.
that. But how do you hear about us today? They give you an answer. They go back and write it on a list. You keep a
No,
notepad right there. Write it down. Then you look at it, you'll go, oh, okay, I see. I've got 10 people who came from Angie's List. We need to go there and make sure our profile is updated, correctly, whatever.
of course.
But this is part of that brand building we were talking about in the last episode, right? This is a big part of your brand building is making sure that your contact block is consistent across, all the platforms that you can. Now it gets a little bit more complicated when you got like multiple locations and all that kind of stuff. And then you might need to hire. There are people out there that actually provide the kind of services to do that for people. It's under the umbrella of local SEO, but I just don't see it as to me personally, Rob, I don't see this as an add-on. This is not nice to have. This is like a
This
bare
is a must.
necessity.
This is a must. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
this is a bare necessity. So I try to work that into all my builds. And I just do for my local clients, they're just almost turnkey stuff, It's not heavy custom or anything like that. But and sometimes, people get distracted by making a cool feature on the website, whatever, and they may forget something so simple as like making sure that the NAP is updated, on the website. So
So there's your tip of the day from Mr. Jones. As always, Todd, thank you. And you can find you at copyflight.com, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and we dare mention Blue Sky again, just for fun.
I'm there, but like I said, if you try to message me, I might not see it for months. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. So
I,
there you
I
go.
I am on Instagram looking at cat videos, but I don't do a lot, I'm really not looking for business there. So I just have fun on Instagram. But if you're trying to get business from me or you want to ask a question, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn are the best bets.
Yeah. Have a great day, everybody. Todd, thanks so much as always. Bye. This podcast has been brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, your digital marketing concierge to help the business owner put all his pieces together, whether it's email marketing, WordPress security, WordPress design and development, PPC, and more. Text Stunning Digital Marketing for all your digital marketing needs today. Very special thank you to Todd Jones for joining me on this edition of the SDM Show. The SDM Show is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Dad, I miss you very much every day. My mother, Ann Cairns, who's still doing really well and is an inspiration. And of course, Tiz Maroney. And Tiz, I know I've said it, but thank you so much for all the inspiration you give me every day.